Hey everybody out there on the internet, this is Doc Eon coming to you on this fine Monday, this September Monday, the 2nd of September even, first Monday of the month, but second day of the month, and I'm here to ramble, as you might notice, always rambling on. And what have I finished this week? Well, I thought I'd start out in a different way. I usually start with my fanciest minis, but what the heck, let's flip things around. This week I'm starting with the run-of-the-mill Horde minis. It's these mites. Well, the ones that look like this are actual mites. They're from the Pathfinder line by Reaper, and they're supposed to represent the monsters called mites in Pathfinder. Surprise, surprise. But I also painted these other figures, which are from the Dark Heaven line, called gremlins, like mites. And mites are just small blue humanoids. And these could be used in D&D for Xvarts, for example. But I painted them because one of these days I want to run the Pathfinder campaign Kingmaker. Not with Pathfinder rule, but with something else. We'll see what eventually. But I need some mites. And so there's 10 mites here. And they're just... The only special thing about them is the blue skin. Otherwise, they're just in drab colors, various browns and greens, sort of natural colors they might have. And yeah, they're just tabletop Horde minis. Nothing special, but I like them. As for the prettier miniatures, there's only 3 of them this week. They're all Reaper minis. They're from, I think they're all Dark Heaven standard line. So I painted up, they're all wizards of some sort, though they're not all intended for use as that. Here we have the guy in the blue and the gold. And the lady in white. White is a difficult color. And she also has some sort of pants on under the dress, which I found a little odd. I painted the corset a darker color just to offset the white a little bit. And then we have the Necromancer. I didn't do the face mask thing. It would have looked weird. And also it would have hid his facial features. He has such nice, sharp, defined cheekbones. Didn't want to destroy those. And I tried to keep his robe or cloak rather dark, sinister red, and then the pale violet of the robe underneath. The difficult part was delineating the skull that he's holding in his left hand from the hand, because I tend to use the same shade. So I use skin shade of various sorts for bone as well, because it is organic and I want it to have a slight reddish tinge to it in the shadows. So they tended to blend together, and to make it pop a little more, I did 2 things. One, I blacklined the line between the fingers and the skull, and the second one was that I added some highlights on the skull of a cold white, and I normally don't do that. I normally paint all bone in warm whites, again, because it is organic material. But in this particular instance, to create the difference between the warm, pale skin color and the bone, I actually painted this skull a cold white. I hope that pops for you. And there we go. And the remaining started figures, well, there's a little bit more paint on this bat. Not a lot. And these 2 figures, sorry, nothing much has happened. I haven't prioritized them. Can't do everything. Nothing to see here. Moving on. Now, these are the newly prepped and prime minis. First, here we have the Ogre from Heresy Miniatures and the sort of man bat. Now, I placed these on, these are resin cast purchased cobblestone bases that were left over from something else. I don't recall what exactly. And as you can see, they're kind of zenithal primed, as are actually these. The Reaper Bones, they're not as in exactly the same colors and not to the same degree. So, but let's see if you can get a view of them all. Like I said, lots of wizards here in robes and pointy hats and staffs, and yeah, it's very, very stereotypical. So as I mentioned, maybe some of these will get brought to the store tonight for the painting session. So this model did not get fully prepped for this week's episode, but he is cleaned, as in I've gotten rid of mold lines and flashing and other molding artifacts which come from pouring resin, and I've washed it, all the pieces, with washing up liquid and water, and they've dried and they're ready to start assembly. So the body, no problem. Wings, no problem. Tail, no problem. Then we come to all the arms and weapons, and here we have a few small problems. Oh, here's the head, by the way. This head is... I'm probably going to paint him red because this head is very Tim Curry in Legend. The face is very reminiscent of that. So there was a piece that broke. This sort of staff with a sort of axe head broke off, and this is not my fault, I would hasten to say. It's not that I mishandled it. It's, if you look at the break where it broke, I don't know if you can see, but it's hollow. This resin was not poured properly. I mean, it is supposed to be solid all the way through, and it is. This portion was hollow. It's solid later on. You can see deeper inside there, and same here down towards the hand. It's solid. So this had to break. There's no way this could last. So if I want to use this, I need to cut away the hollow bits, pin the solid bits together, and then probably use some green stuff or something to smooth things out. But I don't think I want to do that, because I don't think I want to use this at all, because this is clearly a two-handed weapon. It's held in the left hand. I've figured out some things here. So there's two different left arms, and one is for holding something up, like this staff. The other is at a different angle, and it's more for holding something out or slightly to the side or down. Let me show you what I mean. So this arm goes on like this, and this is clearly for holding something like this, because then it sort of reaches down to the ground. The other arm is much more up. Well, I suppose you could hold it with that, but it would look weird. The staff would not touch the ground if you use this. So this is more for one of the other objects. And there we have the sword, which I've not straightened out yet because I don't know if I want to use it. We have the cleaver, and we have the two axes, which are identical for some reason. So, yeah. For the right arm, there's three options. There's the one holding a big sword up, and there's two that are simply making a fist, and they're in slightly different angles. So, to me, it's obvious that the point of these two is to complement the two-handed weapon, because he needs one hand free. If he's just posing with this big axe staff, sort of poleaxe thing, and he has to have his right hand free if he's going to swing it. But I thought it would look more interesting with 2 weapons. So I'm going to go with a sword and one other weapon. I'm not sure. Dual swording might be cool. I'll have to try some boiling water and see if I can get this straight. Otherwise, I'm thinking the cleaver. The cleaver is big and imposing and impressive. That might be a good option. Well, because I didn't make in time for this week, I've got some. I'm in no hurry to figure this out. I'll give it due consideration. So this might seem a little weird, but I just bought this box of first edition Malifaux figures. The Lucius box set, which is guild only. I apparently back in first edition, it had not yet been revealed that Lucius was also Neverborn. I came in during second edition, so I had no idea. And it contains these 5 minis. Why did I buy this? Well, it was on sale in an online store that I usually frequent, and I thought, well, I didn't have these before, so, and they're kind of cool. And one of my very, very long-term plans is to eventually run the role-playing game set in Malifaux, which is called Through the Breach. Yeah, that's it. So, well, and then once it arrived, I said to myself, why not? Why put them away? Why not just paint them up right away? And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to prep these for next week, and they'll probably be my store painting project. I'm not going to finish 5 minis at the painting evening, but you know, paint a couple of them to completion and start the others. I will need more projects during the week, so I have 2 more ideas. One is Reaper Bones, the Bones 4 Kickstarter, an add-on called the Fire Giant Huntsman. This is 2 models, a Fire Giant and a Hellhound. And yeah, I painted some of the Hill Giants recently. Why not do more giants? And then I got this idea from painting those 1001 Nights harem miniatures, and I picked out some of the hassle-free minis I still have, called things like Harem Dancer B. And in fact, I have 2 copies of Harem Dancer B. I am not sure why. Possibly one was a promo mini, and sometimes they give me extra minis when I place a big order or an order is delayed or something. Maybe I forgot I had it and bought a new one. Anyway, this is an acrobatic lady doing a sort of handstand. There's also it's not listed, but I think the name of this is Concubine, which is simply a standing naked girl. And I think this one is called Harem Dancer. She's a pole dancer, clearly. She's got high heels on and is holding a pole. So, a bit more modern, perhaps, in conception. But, you know, I felt like, why not do some nude studies? And what I usually do when I paint several of these artistic nudes is I try out some new or different skin tones. I tried different combinations of paints that I picked up around the net with suggestions for how to paint skin. Another reason I feel like painting some hassle-free minis is that with the world going the way it is, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to buy any more hassle-free minis. I've got quite a few stored away, but honestly, if there is a no-deal Brexit, a hard Brexit, and the toll walls go up, that will increase the cost of importing stuff from the UK by quite a lot. And, big companies, the other things I tend to buy from the UK are things like the occasional Kickstarter, which is sent through a reshipper in the UK to get rid to avoid the toll walls if they sent directly from the US or from China. There's several companies from the US, specifically Reaper Miniatures, the Chaosium, and Pelgrane Press, that have warehouses in the UK that they use to get around the tolls and the VAT. And they can probably relocate. I assume they'll move their operations to either mainland Europe or Ireland if the worst happens. But small companies like Hassle-Free Minis, Heresy Miniatures, and a few others, they're gonna be screwed because they're gonna lose their EU customers. Yeah. I didn't want to get into politics too much, but, just pointing out the facts, this is what will happen if it's worst comes to worst. Anyway, not to end this on a downer, I have several projects lined up now that I'm enthusiastic about, and I am going full steam ahead. And this was hopefully a very enjoyable episode for you to watch, with lots of new information and interesting minis to see. So, if you'd like to click like, subscribe if you haven't done so, share the video with somebody you think might like it, leave a comment what you especially enjoyed or want to see in the future, and see me here again in a week. Same channel, same day, same Doc again. Till then, I'm signing.